Hello, Bala.
Hello, Kagawa-san.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fine, thank you.
Yeah, great, great. How is Singapore?
It's hot today, but normally we don't have seasons like you in Japan. It's it's either it's very hot or we rain. Rainy season or hot. That's it. We don't
That's
have four seasons. We have only two seasons. One
uh,
season, rain
yeah,
and hot.
exactly, exactly. Today, thank you for the cooperation because, as a former director of The Economist, I'm gonna have several questions to you, talking about how to deal with a Japanese business person from your point of view. So, let's start this interview, okay?
Thank you.
All right. So tell me anyway. You have been working with many Japanese, and
Yes.
based on your view, are there any suggestion or feedback for ordinary Japanese business person or Japanese people to be active in a global environment? So please start.
Well, Kagawa-san, I've been working with Japanese for the last 30 years.
Mm.
When from I started, I came from India as a migrant worker here to work in a printing company, and my first client was the Japanese.
Oh,
And then when I was with the Economist, I Japan was under my division, so under my area. So
yes.
I've traveled, and you're one of the this one. Other than you, there are many. So I was able to interact with so many Japanese businessmen and my colleagues in both
Mm.
in off the field and on the field.
Sure.
So no, on office and off the office also. So
Exactly.
I think they are fantastic. I mean, I if you ask me, they are one of the best. Some of them have become,
Mm.
including you, friends for life. But it has not been so easy for me when I began.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest challenge I had
Mm-hmm.
was because when you're interacting with the Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
and from me, I
Mm-hmm.
I it is a silence. I never knew
Oh.
for a long period of time what is in Wabe-san's mind. For example, I'll just give an example. If the Japanese is angry, he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't shout. He doesn't say that this is wrong, what you have done this
Right,
to
right,
me.
right.
He will be silent on the phone for 5 minutes. That means I know that Wabe-san is angry or something's I have not done something right. But he will not say a word. So it took me years and years to understand, but over
Mm-hmm.
the over the time I started communicating, then I started asking more and more questions. Then it was easy for me to come to the situation that where I went wrong or how could I improve better. That is number one. I think that's a number one problem that I think
Number one is a
I
silence.
had.
Silence.
Silence, yes.
Okay, okay.
Silence, basically assumption that this I know everything. The other person knows everything. That he understands what is happening in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody understands what is happening in your mind. Only you understand what's happening in your mind. You have to tell the other person that this is what I want, or this is not correct, or this is what I wanted. The
Mm-hmm.
second was resistant to change.
Oh, okay.
I could not. Then maybe it's a cultural thing for you, for Japanese people to follow process, follow an
Mm-hmm.
order, follow a system, and not question it. And if a system has been designed, you are you have to execute it without questioning it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that is how you will think. But
Right.
some of these systems, some of these processes are irrelevant after some nowadays, time in 1 year only. So some of the, like when I was dealing with Wabe-san, and he was following a system for 25 years, 20 years on
Uh,
paper. I could do the entire in a spreadsheet for 5 minutes. That
mm-hmm.
could take whole paper writing. It takes 2 days to calculate a paper
Sure.
inventory, but that could be done so easily by putting a small Excel spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was my, and I had a similar experience when I went to deal with OCS,
I understand. That's transportation company, right?
Transportation company,
Mhm.
and with Yamato. So I find it is very, very, they are very resistant to change. So the Japanese expect us as a supplier. I was a customer, both as a supplier and as a customer, that we have to follow their system, not they will adapt to our system.
Right, exactly. But difficulty is, the hesitation of the changes. So
Yes.
which means like, first of all, Japanese quite tend to be silent for a long time in a conversation. That is difficult to predict what is going on. And the second,
Yes.
the kind of hesitation about the changes. Japanese
Correct.
want to stay as it is a long time. They hate to make a change. You mentioned that, right?
Correct.
These two
Number
things.
three.
Okay.
Yeah, number three is in any Western company or an Indian company, you go to a company, right? You have a CEO, you have a CFO, you have a CEO, and you have a CTO. There are people who have responsibilities who you can negotiate. But when my experience with Japanese companies and Japanese, even the big companies, I never know who am I talking to. Sometimes I'm talking to 10 people in the room.
Which means like, you cannot find that the person who is responsible.
Responsible, yes. Or even if the person is responsible, for example, Higuchi-san in OCS was responsible, but when I'm sitting in the room, he had 10 people with him talking, trying to negotiate things with me. And it is very, very, I would say, okay, I could handle it, but I do not know others in my shoes who could, they will be overwhelmed if you're having 15 people in one room and you're dealing with one person to negotiate or to have a discussion. So you do not know who are you, who is everybody speaking to each other in Japanese and only one person speaking to you in English. And that was
yeah. Maybe Japanese are so group oriented. Maybe
correct.
that is why you can't find the ultimate decision maker on your counterpart.
Correct. So you do not know who's the decision maker and who are you talking to. So as if you're talking to a colony of bees. This is like a whole group, but not an individual. That's a total difference. And the fourth,
go ahead.
Okay, this is third. The fourth, I find is they Japanese. I don't know. Maybe it is a culture. My culture is different. I was born and my religion, my books, my scriptures is to ask questions. Like from my school, from my playground, from my religious texts, from my upbringing is asking questions. That's how I learn, and that's how we grow.
Sure.
But I think from the Japanese point of view, I think if you ask a question, it is not giving respect. I think they think either you're not giving respect to the other person, or sometimes I think they're shy. They think that if I ask a question, I think I'm going to tell him that I do not know, and they don't want to say that I do not know.
Yeah, particularly Japanese are not good at receiving the why question. Why?
Yes. Even why, how. But so fundamentally, whenever I do anything, I ask 5 questions. First is why. Why do I do this? Second, first once I answer why, then I ask what shall be done to do this?
What shall be done? Yes.
And what? Next question is what? Why? And the first is why. Second is what. Third is how am I going to do this?
How am I going to do this?
Fourth is where am I going to do this?
Where?
And the fifth is when am I going to do this? So that's how